Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good day, depending on where you're from. I hope everybody's week is going well. If you don't mind, just let me know that the mic is working correctly. That way I know I have the audio settings correct. The chart should be on NQ. We have New York open here. We have a handful of things that we are going to talk about today. I will give it a couple minutes to see who joins before getting into the conversation. Also, let me know if the background music is too loud. If it should be turned down, just let me know. I'll turn it down a couple notches. I'd rather have a good discussion than have the music be too loud. Happy holidays. I don't know who celebrates Thanksgiving, but in the US, we just had Thanksgiving this week. That is why it was a shortened week. It was a great time spending time with family and loved ones and having some good food. So I hope everybody else is enjoying their holidays, and we have New Year's coming up as well. So happy Thanksgiving and have a nice new year. We're going to get ready for 2024 here. And we are going to have a big year. Yeah. Whoops. I said Thanksgiving, didn't I? Christmas. I don't know how I mixed that up, but I hope everybody had a great Christmas. Not sure how I mixed that one up. It's good to see everybody else has already had their coffee today. Was able to pick up on that mistake pretty quickly. But good morning or good day for wherever you guys are from. Merry Christmas. Make sure that's a little better this time. Merry Christmas, and let's have a nice new year. We'll give another couple minutes before we actually get into the conversation. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Love to see everybody here. A lot of individuals from the Discord, individuals from Twitter. Thank you again for joining. We're going to get into a couple of topics before we get into any analysis. We are going to get to the analysis that is going to come after the conversation that we have. Turn this down a notch. Good night from Indonesia. Good afternoon from Uganda. Good afternoon from Lagos. Good afternoon, Braden from Seattle. I hope your day is going well. Yeah, let's turn this down one more notch. I thought it was a little loud as well. So we'll use the YouTube chat to communicate. I'm not going to use the Discord or Twitter. We're just going to focus on the YouTube here. Good afternoon from South Africa. Hello, hello from Norway. I'm glad that everybody is able to join. It is morning time for me as I am in the Carolinas. I'm in the U.S. and I see we also do have another Carolina folk here in Atlanta. So I'm on the East Coast with you guys. Good afternoon from the U.K. and London. So we're going to hop into the conversation. I am going to keep the charts on here and watch the charts as we talk. I'll get into the analysis further into the conversation. I'm going to focus on the conversation first, and then we can focus on the charts. Some very exciting news. All of the documentation on Twitter has been going very well. It has brought an audience that was rather unexpected. I'm very grateful for. It was just unexpected. I was using it as my public journal, so I was just trying to provide my documentation to the public so that if there was anybody else that could learn from it or would be interested in reading it, that I wouldn't be the only one learning from it, right? So the very first objective was to journal everything that I do, right? And I highly suggest this for everybody else. It doesn't matter if you're talking about trading, it doesn't matter if you're talking about work, it doesn't matter if you're talking about life. Journaling in general is just a very good way to be able to analyze from a third person perspective what you're doing, what you're working on, how you're feeling. You don't always notice what's going on in the moment. So being able to take notes and write down what you are doing during the time so that you can come back to it at another time will allow you to analyze the information in a different mindset, right? Like if you're feeling those emotions that the market is making you feel, you might not analyze the information that you would if you did it at another point in time. So I highly suggest documentation, no matter what you're doing, really. Like I also document my gym. Like when I exercise, I write down what I do, so I can see the progress and I know what I need to work on, and that I could analyze it at a later time, so that during the time of exercising, I can focus on the exercising. So this documenting definitely brought a nice audience, and I'm very glad to meet all of you. And so the value that it's brought to the community has shown, because now there are prop firms that are reaching out to me and asking to do giveaways, and so you saw the giveaways on Twitter, which I'm also very happy for, because I wanted to provide as much value to the community as possible, right? Like if I'm able to get free accounts, free challenges from these prop firms, I'm not just documenting my journey now. I'm specifically impacting the community. I'm giving people chances that weren't available or that they didn't take on their own because of the barrier to entry, right? Like everybody has to pay for these challenges, and not everybody is capable of paying for these challenges. So seeing that the audience gave an opportunity to partner with these prop firms has been very beneficial, and I'm going to keep pushing for you guys. I'm going to keep trying to add as much value as I can. So far, I've only worked with Top Step and My Funded Futures, and My Funded Futures has done a phenomenal job providing free account challenges to the community, and I'm going to do my very best to continue to get as many as I can, because I'm on your side. Like I'm with the community. I'm a part of the community, and I want what's best for the community. So if I could keep providing as many opportunities as I can, that is going to be the overall goal. So now, to further that conversation, I've been approached by a nonprofit organization. There is a nonprofit organization called the L40 Foundation. The L40 Foundation, they are a nonprofit which their mission is to remove any and all socio-economic barriers between kids and athletic achievements. They are providing opportunities for development for underprivileged kids to seek the athletic sponsorships that they need coming out of middle school, coming out of high school, to get in front of college coaches. They are providing scholarships for children to attend various camps and competitions by assisting with the cost of the sports, cost of the equipment, and the uniforms for the underprivileged youth. And by hosting these free activities, they are able to put them in front of these college coaches that are giving them the chances to get a scholarship. And so that itself, for me, definitely hits home because I was an athlete when I was in high school. So to see a nonprofit organization help underprivileged kids get an opportunity to go to school is something that I'm very interested in. So I'm going to be partnering with the L40 Foundation to help as many kids as I can get the recognition that they need so that they can take the step from high school and maybe get a chance to go to college, which they might not have been able to before. So just like I'm here trying to get as many accounts for people that might not be able to pay for the challenges themselves, I'm also going to work with a nonprofit organization so that student athletes can have a chance to get into college. I'm going to go deeper into conversation about this on Twitter as well. I just wanted to have a preliminary conversation about it now to get the ball rolling, to talk to some of you guys because you guys have been here throughout all the live streams. So pretty much just bringing awareness to it because I was an athlete when I was in high school. So to be able to help somebody else is really the overall goal and was always morally in my point of view. Like I've always just been trying to add value in ways that, you know, aren't a monetary barrier. Like it's the same exact thing with the challenges. Like if I could get as many free challenges for the community, for these prop firms, I'm going to try to remove the economic barrier so that everybody gets a chance. So we'll go deeper into that later on Twitter. There'll probably be an announcement, and I'm gonna look to speak with the owner of the foundation. Maybe I'll introduce him to you guys along with the rest of the Twitter audience. But for now, we'll move from the conversation of bringing value to the community to the charts. So I know the majority of people are probably here because they want to see the charts. I won't go into the charity conversation much longer. We'll take a look at indices since we have New York open here. And the first thing that I need to bring your attention to is the economic calendar, right? So let me show you the economic calendar for this week. I pull this up. I only want high impact news. And so let me filter this so it's only the high impact news. Here is your economic calendar for the week. As you can see, there is no high impact news this week. right? So if we know that high impact news is our liquidity injection, and we know that there is no high impact news, that's your first insight right there that, price might be less efficient this week. If there's not going to be a liquidity injection into the market, then you should be more patient than you normally are, right? So there's nothing to rush into this entire week, right? So my calendar shows jobless claims, high impact news, USD. I don't know if it's I don't know if you're on one of the other currencies. Let me put on all the currencies here. Nope. Alan, maybe you're on the wrong week, but we're looking at December 24th to December 30th. We're looking at high impact news. Maybe you're looking at a medium impact unemployment claims. Yeah, so high impact is the red folders. We're only concerned about the red folders. The orange and the yellow and the gray we are not concerned with those folders. We only want to know about the red folders. Right? So back to the first comment is being overly patient. Seeing that there's no liquidity injection here is instantly telling me that I should be more patient than normal. And so now we're looking at New York Open on NQ and look at price right now. This is the definition of what I'm talking about here. Look how slow price is moving. This is lethargic. Sure, we had a move above these highs, right? Maybe it's a liquidity sweep, maybe it's not. We don't know if it is a liquidity sweep until we get, right? So this would be a stop hunt. Stop hunt here. We wouldn't know if that's a liquidity sweep until we actually get a market structure shift with displacement to the downside. But price is barely moving. We don't have information on this. So currently, the first thing that I would be looking at is what has happened, right, overnight and during the London session. I want to look at the prior sessions to see what price was doing. And if you ask me, the prior session was clearly consolidation from yesterday on. So all of Asia and all of London. From consolidation, we either have continuation or a reversal. So for this to be continuation, right, you'd probably want to see these down close candles act as support. And this is why I highlighted these down close candles. There's two things that could happen here. Either these down close candles act as support, meaning it's acting as an order block for price to continue from the consolidation, sorry. Either this is down close candles and a bullish market are supposed to act as support. If this acts as support, you can see the continuation. Right? Same thing goes for it becoming a breaker block. You do get a sweep of the previous day high. You do get a stop hunt into that area of a liquidity grab. Price would need to decisively displace through these down close candles, and that would create a bearish breaker. Right? So you're being subjective to price. You're not sitting here and forcing your opinion on price. You're subjectively analyzing it. There's only two options, and in my analysis right now, it would either be these two candles, these two down close candles are going to support price for the continuation. If it does not, I would want to see displacement through those two candles to create a breaker block. Now, here is what is going to differentiate some good traders from bad traders. Just because you have a what-if scenario, just because you know what you should be looking for, does that mean that you should act upon your opinion? No. If you know that it's going to be a lower probability day because there's no high impact news drivers, you have no narrative for your opinion to play out. You have no reason. You have no liquidity injection. Right? So for me, I'm not trading. I'm not trading this week. If you're in my Discord, you would know that. Before the week even started, I put up the economic calendar showing there's no high impact news drivers. Because there's no high impact news drivers, I don't see there being a reason for price to be pushed in the direction that it's going. Right? So now we'll take a look at Dixie as well. And now if you're looking at Dixie, right, here's the correlation between Dixie and NQ. If you could see that Dixie is currently selling off, if you understand the correlation between Dixie and NQ, then you would be looking at these two down close candles as an order block. You would be looking for price to get supported here for the continuation, because Dixie is inversely correlated to NQ. When Dixie is moving lower, indices are moving higher. So now you guys keep saying that YM is making a unicorn, so let's take a look to see if you guys are correct. Yeah, so let's see. So we get a sweep of an hourly swing low here. Get the sweep of the hourly swing low here. So you have a higher time frame area of interest. You have your 5-minute sweep, right? So a 5-minute stop hunt into a higher time frame area of interest at 9:30 New York opening, and you get displacement through the highest up close candle before the leg down that took liquidity. Whoever called out the YM unicorn, I agree with you. Looks like a bullish unicorn here, and we'll annotate it here. So that everybody could see it. It would look like see what it would look like this. So whoever called out the YM unicorn, I agree with what you're saying. Just like NQ, if Dixie is going lower, YM would be going higher. And so this also looks like a continuation here. You kind of get the same setup here. So there are reversal unicorns and there are continuation, right? So you have this here, a sweep of the lows, and then this acting as a breaker block with the FEG in here. Right, but let's see if there's a higher time frame. So it just barely misses a higher time frame area of interest. If you want to use the volume imbalance as a higher time frame area of interest, I don't, but that is an area of interest. Right, the volume imbalance right here. My problem with NQ is that it swept the highs before creating this, right? So I long below the lows, I don't long above the highs. But this is a continuation breaker here. You can see it's being respected nicely. Wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story. And it looks good for continuation. Go back to YM because that one looked clean. I agree with what you guys said on YM here. Let's take a look at ES as well. So ES gets the sweep as well. It gets a sweep of the lows here. So 15-minute looks a little cleaner than the 5-minute. Right, so this kind of looks like accumulation, right? You might have gotten your manipulation here and then time for distribution. Once again, understanding the high impact news drivers, it doesn't interest me. Even if you get the analysis correct, that doesn't mean that you should be executing. The market is never going anywhere. Right, and so now NQ is getting the continuation. Right, so the very first analysis for NQ was, right, in a bullish market, down closed candles will act as an area of support. And you can, it's very clear here. These were the ones that were highlighted. There was two options. Either these candles right here act as support, or it gets displaced through. And you can see the candles respect it very nicely. All right, so quick little analysis on each, and now I'll get over to the comments to see how you guys are feeling about the analysis. I'm gonna have to scroll up a little bit here. When you have an opportunity, Ash, could you tape read the Dow? Okay, so that was YM here. We got the bullish unicorn at New York Open for the Dow. It's on the screen now, so we annotated that. Okay, on my FX book, there is a red folder tomorrow. Use Forex Factory for the economic calendar. What do I mean by more patient? Meaning, do not execute. Be more patient with your executions. Be more selective with your executions. Don't just execute anything. Be more selective in your criteria and what you would execute. Took out previous week high, but this is only based on 5-minute chart. Where's the higher time frame support? Curtis, I'm not sure which chart you're talking about. If you want to just throw which chart you're talking about, I can take a look. We took out previous week high and are in deep premium. Yeah, so when you're, so just like NQ, right? If you go to the daily, yes, we are in a premium. I agree with what you're saying, right? Price has been aggressively repricing to buy side liquidity. When price is aggressively repricing to buy side liquidity, you're not going to get those pullbacks into a discount. So you may be in a premium on a higher time frame. You will have to look for the discounts on a lower time frame, right? And so an easy way of seeing whether we are going to get continuation or not are two different things. Either premium and discount arrays, right? Look at your PD arrays and see what is being respected, right? So, for example, right? So an FVG being respected, that makes it look like we are going to see continuation. That is your first example. The second example is, and it's the statement that I already made, in a bullish market, down closed candles are going to act as support, right? So just like how this PD array showed that we are going to see continuation, you can look at this down closed candle and see that it acted as support, right? Price was unable to displace through it. It acted as support, and now we're seeing the continuation. So the bullish market is going to continue. You're not going to get those deep retracements into a discount on higher time frames. So if you're looking for a higher time frame area of support, look at either PD arrays or look at down close candles for a bullish market and up close candles for a bearish market. Do you take into account new week opening gap? New day and new week opening gap are two concepts that I do not use. Less is more. Quality over quantity. I'm not saying don't use it, but what I'm saying is you do not need 100 concepts to create a model or to execute. I use FVGs and swing highs and swing lows. That is it. I use the entry function of the unicorn at New York Open to engage with the markets. That is all. Dixie is going deeper into a monthly FVG. I agree with that. Sir gave me the thumbs up. Not sure what you're referring to. Can you explain why you drew the breaker there and not down closed candle? Are you referring to YM? YM is the only one that we drew out a breaker for. So let me know if you're referring to YM, and if you are referring to YM, the breaker is here. Let me just write it out so you can keep this for a later time. Just write this out on the screen real quick so that everybody could keep this for a later date. Okay, here you go. So a bullish breaker is the highest up closed candle before the leg down that took liquidity. Notice I'm saying closed. So you're looking at closing price, the highest up closed price before the leg down that took liquidity. Now let's look at YM. If this is where we took liquidity right here, the stop hunt, right? That means this is the leg up. Where's the arrow? This is the leg up before the leg down that took liquidity. Therefore, we need the highest up closed. It's right here. So here's your open, high, low, closed. If you hover over the candle, you can see that the price of this closing price for this candle is 37,895. That is the highest up close price before the leg down that took liquidity. We wouldn't even look at this candle because this is during the leg down that took liquidity. And then vice versa for bearish breaker. Notice with continuation unicorns, the stop placement typically has to be below the low. Your stop placement should be contingent upon your experience. Okay, so I don't know why I got off of YM, but let me go right back to YM so I can explain what I'm talking about. All right, so if you're going to use a stop loss that is the same tick as the bottom of the breaker, I highly suggest that you have at least 10 years of experience of doing this and you know exactly what you're doing and you're overly profitable for a handful of years. This is for the most experienced person that you could get. This is for ICT right here, right? We are not ICT. You, as a developing trader, need to give yourself room. You need to size smaller. Just because you're giving yourself more room does not mean have a larger amount of risk. That means have a smaller position size so that you can have a larger stop loss so that you give yourself room to breathe. You need to even give yourself a chance to see if the model works correctly or not. Right? So now let's go. Oh, that's why I went over to NQ. So if you're looking at this, right? If you're looking at this continuation breaker, if you're looking at a sweep here, and you're looking at this as being your breaker, right? If you, after we displaced through the breaker block, after we left the FEG aligned with the breaker block, your first chance to enter this continuation breaker, right, would have been the 940 candle. If you were acting like that person that wants to have the tightest stop loss possible because you want to have a larger position size, you probably would have got stopped out to the tick. And then immediately, right after getting stopped out, it runs to R. How about be more patient? How about instead of trying to force more risk into the market, understand where you are at in this process, understand yourself, and give yourself room to breathe. Have a smaller position size so that you can do that. Right? Whoops. Try to get back over to YM to watch this one. Okay. Do I take... Oh, I read that one already. Can we look at ES, please? ES. This looks like no high impact news drivers. And this is the exact reason why I told you in the beginning of the stream that I'm not executing this week. If price, right, let me go back to the economic calendar. If price has no liquidity injection, it has no fuel to go in the direction that it wants to go in. The liquidity injection is like putting gas in a car. If you have no gas, you are not driving anywhere. Right? And this is what that looks like. This all just, since yesterday's high, this quite literally just looks like accumulation. It's just consolidating in this tight range here. Right? That's all you got. There's nothing to do here. In my opinion, this is not clear. It is not decisive. There is no displacement showing you that we want to target buy side. There is no displacement showing you that we want to target sell side. We are quite literally chopping in a small range. Right? So even if you are bullish on a daily, right? So let me go to the daily. Right? Yes, ES is bullish. Yes, my bias would be bullish. My bias comes from the daily. The daily looks bullish. That does not mean that you need to act on your bias. If you understand narrative, and if you understand the environment that price is currently in, you know that we are at a lower probability because there is no high impact news drivers. So for me, ES, there's nothing to do. This is a moment of being patient. There's S&P going on with NQ going higher than the others. So NQ finally gets some displacement here, right? So now this looks like a bearish breaker. You get the sweep of the highs after running above the previous day high, right? And you get displacement that leaves an FEG with the breaker block. That looks like a bearish breaker. They had a liquidity sweep at the open and then targeted these clean lows, right? Smooth edges are made to be rigid. If you see this amount of lows being this clean without a liquidity sweep, they should be withdrawing liquidity. So it makes complete sense that price at the open ran above the highs. This is a classic accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? So accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So where are we at? There's S&T. It's yet to sweep the highs. Can you go through today, London Open, EU and GU Unicorn, and why you chose GU? I'm crying because I didn't participate in that GU long. Rufy, you didn't grab that GU long? That was super clean, brother. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so take a look at GU first. Let's put the session indicator on here so I don't have to. Oh, I guess I took it off, maybe. Inputs. Show kill zones. Okay. I'll put the text on too so everybody understands. I'm actually gonna take that off. So I like my charts clean. It's this is too much going on for me. Okay, so first things first, bias always comes from a daily, right? And as I pointed out earlier, two things to help aid your bias is you either are looking at the PD arrays to see if they're being respected, or you're looking at, in a bullish trend, you're looking at down closed candles to see if they're acting as support. So the very first thing that I have to say about GU is the daily bullish fair value gap is supporting price. That clearly says to me that we are aiming at buy side liquidity. We are bullish. That would be your bias. That would be your narrative to generating a bullish entry function during the opening times. Right? So now, time frame alignment. The daily is aligned with the 1 hour time frame. So now I'm going to look for an hourly area of interest, either a fair value gap or a swing low, because we are bullish. So we are looking for a bullish fair value gap or a swing low to use our entry function. Right? So it's very clear that you have a fair value gap right here, a bullish fair value gap. Right? Okay, so now we have our bias on the daily being bullish. Then we move to the hourly and found an hourly area of interest to generate our bullish position. The hourly is aligned with the 5-minute time frame. Right? So we move to the 5-minute time frame. The 5-minute time frame is our executing time frame. Your executing time frame is where you have to find all of the criteria to your entry function. You do not mix the time frames to confirm your criteria. All of your criteria for your entry function happens on the executing time frame. Okay, so hourly fair value gap. So we need an hourly area of interest to generate our position. We need the opening time, right? So we are in London Open, right? Now, during London, we would need a move to our hourly area of interest. And when we get to our hourly area of interest, we would need to confirm our criteria. So you see the move lower into the 1 hour fair value gap. When we get to the 1 hour fair value gap, you see a stop hunt occurs, right? Price sweeps this swing low here. Okay, so now you have a stop hunt as well. That's your first criteria. After the stop hunt occurs, you would then need displacement through the highest up closed candle before the leg down that took liquidity. If there are consecutive closes, you use both of the consecutive. So since the highest up closed candle before the leg down that took liquidity has another up closed candle right before it, you use both of the candles. Okay, you need displacement through that. Perfect. Price clearly displaced through the breaker and had no problem closing above the breaker. We now have a breaker. You need to lastly confirm that there's an FVG aligned with the breaker. So whether you use this FVG right here that I'm outlining or this one in here, there's also an FVG right here. I even enjoy the fact that there's two FVGs here. That, to me, shows that that is clear and decisive displacement. Furthermore, I would want to see the FVG that's further into a discount act as a breakaway gap. Right? So now, let me go to... This is what a bullish entry function looks like at the very first moment in time that you could be setting a limit order for entry. Here it is. right? As soon as this candle closes, this 415 candle, as soon as that candle closes, I am setting a limit long for the beginning of the breaker block, right? And you can see the price of the beginning of the breaker block by looking at the highest price to the breaker block. So if you're looking over here, when I hover over the breaker block, it is 1.27126, right? So I'm setting a limit order for that price. Again, we are not experts, so we do not need, yes, the stop loss needs to go below the breaker block, but this is where an expert would put the stop loss, right? Right below the breaker block. One tick below the breaker block is where an expert would put the stop loss. For beginners, we are going to give ourselves room and place the stop loss lower. If you're feeling very, very uncomfortable, right? This is the last place that you would put it, is the swing low. Right? So we're going to say we slightly know what we're doing. We'll put it further below the breaker block, but we'll put it not at the swing low. Entry is always the same, the beginning of the breaker block. And risk to reward is always the same. You want to be aiming for 2R. This is the very first moment in time that you could be setting an order for a long that looks just like this. All of your criteria is completed. It's aligned with your bias. It's during London Open. Every single criteria is completed here. All right, so there's your first entry. You're entered, and you're probably feeling good because it bounced nicely off of your entry. You're holding it, and it's green. Now you're nicely green. This is the moment in time where you cannot be so fearful that you raise your stop loss all the way above entry before price hits 2R. Because what happens when it just comes crashing back down and takes out your break even, right? Doesn't look like we hit 2R yet. And now it starts to turn around. It starts to turn around and starting to come back. It's still green, so it's easy to hold, but for the people that are raising their stop loss to break even, there you go. You've just been taking out at break even for a position that hasn't even been invalidated. Invalidation to this position is down here. Why is my tool not letting me slide it? We're going to use a new tool. Invalidation to the position is down here. So the people that raise their stop loss to break even, they're not even going to see if this breaker block, if this unicorn actually worked. Let's see if it actually works. That looks like your 2R there, right? 2.4R. So there you go. For the person that got stopped out at break even, price was clearly respecting the unicorn. It didn't do anything that said this position's not going to play out. In fact, it confirmed it's respecting the unicorn highly. Look how it was clearly supported by the unicorn, and then goes and runs to 2R. So the person that is being so fearful that once you become profitable, that you raise your stop loss into profits because you can't bear the idea of a winner becoming a loser, then you're never even going to see if the model works out correctly. Matter of fact, how about you do this? How about you do this? This is going to be a test of your patience. Have two separate accounts, right? Have one account where you manage it contingent upon your emotions, right? Maybe you raise your stop loss to break even like I'm mentioning now. And then have a second account where it is a stop loss or TP, no other option for management. either you get stop loss or you get 2R. Right? So manage the two accounts differently. Manage one with your emotions and manage one with set limit orders, 2R or stop loss. See which one has better results. Do it for a month, do it for 2 months, come back and see which one has better results. Either you executing your emotions or you executing the plan. And then come back and tell me the results. It will show you what emotions will do to you. It will show you if you just execute the model, the results are there. Don't allow the emotions to deter you. So there's GU for you this morning. GU couldn't get any cleaner. That's a bullish unicorn. And look at where we are now. We had the bias. We had the entry function. It played out gorgeously. Love how patient you are, Ash. Many people just want to jump in as soon as the open starts, but you are taking your time on a non-news day, holiday week, like we probably should. You need to understand narrative, right? You need to understand the environment. If you are being impulsive and acting upon your emotions, you are not thinking in terms of probability. You need to have patience and discipline. You need to think in terms of probability. Seeing that there is no news drivers instantly shows you that we are at lower probability. If you are going to run this as a business, and if you want to be here for the long term, you always have to manage your risk. You always have to protect your capital, and you do that by thinking in terms of probability. You need to know when to play defense, and you need to know when to play offense. Right now, it is a time to be playing defense. Prices in a lower probability environment because there is no volatility injection. Price will be less efficient. Therefore, you have two options. Don't participate at all, or understand that you are operating in a lower probability environment. Which one are you going to hold your business to? Or are you just acting on emotions? Or is this just gambling for you? You decide. I mean, this is always going to be you versus you. Nobody else is clicking the buttons for you. You're either going to treat this as a business or you're going to gamble. Is the discount for prop firm for each month or just for 1 month? If you sign up using my code, which is in the description of this video, I have a discount. It is during the sign up. So if the reset is more expensive than the sign up, I would only do a sign up so I can use the discount. Always be purchasing things at a discount. Do you also review long-term trends or just look intraday only? It depends on what you're talking about. I do have investments, so I do have long-term positions. But if you're referring to day trading, that is different from investments. There is trading and then there is investments. Day trading is an intraday scenario. So I'm only moving from the daily to the hourly to the 5-minute for day trading. Sorry, Ash, you said this in the last live stream, but I can't remember. What is the indicator used so that you can have the patience, discipline? So the watermark is AGFX watermark. That is how you see the patience, discipline, fearless, and the ticker symbol down below. AGFX watermark. All right. every time I scroll down, it goes to the top of the conversation. I'm not sure how that happens. I guess we'll just start at the top of the conversation. Why do you target 2R and not liquidity or 3R? It is the model that I've been using, and the results speak for themselves. I highly suggest everybody acts as independent thinkers, so I think you should do what is right for you, right? And your results should give you that proof of what you should be doing. I found the consistency when I was doing 2R. Ash, what's the difference between wick close and candle close in relation to FEGs and highs and lows? So if you're looking, for example, wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story, right? So let's do an FEG as an example here. Here's an FEG. Notice how all of the body candle closures are unable to close below the FEG. That clearly shows that price is respecting this FEG. The wick is allowed to go below the FEG, but since the body was unable to close below the FEG, that is showing that the FEG is being respected. Wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story. Do I ever execute between 11 and 12, or do you tend to end your day at 11? I execute New York Open. So I'm looking to execute from 9:30, and I will not enter any positions once lunchtime hits. You can manage a position through lunch, but once lunchtime hits, 12 o'clock, EST, I no longer enter positions. I'm a New York Open trader. Let's take a look. Let's go back to see what happened with this. Didn't give the entry. It looks like it went to R before giving an entry. So nice position. We called out the unicorn. It played out nicely. Doesn't look like it gave any entries. Let's take a look and see what happened with ES and NQ. ES still doing nothing. It just chopping in this range. Sweeping the highs, sweeping the lows, just doing nothing. Nothing to do there. There's just nothing to do on ES. And so you see the discrepancy between NQ and YM, or ES and YM. When there is such a discrepancy between correlated assets, that's how you know that it is an indecisive market, right? They're all doing different things right now. ES is consolidating. It's done nothing so far today. NQ swept the highs and then sold off. So NQ acted bearish. ES has acted neither bearish or bullish because it's just consolidating. And YM is bullish. Had a bullish unicorn and keeps going higher. When correlated assets are doing different things, that, again, is an insight to indecisive price action, less efficient price action. Same thing as no news drivers acting as lower probability. This is the information that you need to know to be able to understand probabilities. the likes. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yeah, if the live stream is helping, if there is information that is being useful or providing value, I would greatly appreciate any subs. I would appreciate any likes. We've been doing this weekly, so we're going to continue to do it weekly for the rest of time. I don't plan on stopping this, so whoever's along with the journey, I would love to continue providing value and growing each week. We are going to continue working and learning every single week. So let's see. I'll run through a couple more questions before closing up the live stream. For anybody that wasn't here in the beginning, I will go over the nonprofit organization one more time. I am going to partner with the L40 Foundation. It is a nonprofit organization. The L40 Foundation's mission is to remove any and all socioeconomic barriers between kids and athletic achievements, opportunities, and development. The L40 Foundation does this by providing scholarships for children to attend various camps and competitions, by assisting them with cost of sports equipment and uniforms for the underprivileged children. They host public activities and athletic training and education camps, and this gives the underprivileged children opportunities to get in front of college coaches. They are providing the funding for kids to get scholarships to go to college. It is the same exact thing that I've been doing for the trading community. I have been working every single week to get as many free giveaways from the prop firms as I could. I'm going to continue doing that because I'm trying to add as much value to this community as possible. For anybody that's not able to achieve these challenges because of some kind of payment method, I'm getting as many free challenges as I can. So the L40 Foundation and me align in our values. Our morals align. So therefore, we're going to partner so that we can continue doing the best we can for the communities that we're in. So all of the support on Twitter and YouTube is greatly appreciated. It will bring awareness to these communities, and I greatly appreciate everybody that is here. If there is ever any questions or information that you guys want to go over, feel free to reach out to me. I always answer anybody and provide any answers that I can. Obviously, if it's information that I do not know, I'm going to have to point you in a different direction. But for information I do have, I'm an open book. I will gladly share anything that I have. You will continue to see that the journey that I'm taking, both in Discord and on Twitter. So if you want to learn from that or communicate with me directly, I will gladly hand out any and all information. So now before ending stream, I'll answer a couple more questions, chat a little bit with you guys. I'll probably end the stream in another 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. There's no executions here for me today. Like I said, the economic calendar is guiding that decision. Seeing that there's no high impact news. It's a lower probability session. We got the bearish breaker after sweeping the highs on NQ, right? So this happened. We swept the highs. Had a stop hunt. After the stop hunt, we saw displacement through the breaker block. And without giving an entry, price ran to the smooth edges, right? The draw on liquidity. So there's nothing really to do there. ES, once again, just complete consolidation. Hasn't gone higher, hasn't gone lower. There's nothing for me to do in ES at all. YM had the bullish unicorn. It played out nicely. It doesn't look like it gave an entry. Right, so you had the sweep, the 5M stop hunt, the breaker block, the FVG aligned with the breaker block. Then it ran 2R. Lastly, we took a look at GU. GU was the position today. We got the 5-minute stop hunt right here into the hourly fair value gap, breaker block with the FVG. So you get your bullish unicorn aligned with your bullish bias. This is the one that we could have executed. This goes and runs much more than 2R after completing all the criteria. It's super helpful to watch your thought process live. Thank you. Thank you as well for joining. We do this every single week. I will gladly keep providing live action. I will keep providing educational videos and documenting my journey. So thank you for also joining. If you continue to join, you'll see more of this. So I do think it has a lot of value and provides a lot of insight. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Ash. Your education took me to the next level. Thank you, George. Happy holidays to you as well, and Happy New Year. Thank you as well for joining. And 2024 has a lot in store. I have a laundry list of videos that is going to be displayed. So the value is only going to keep increasing. So if you're around for more, I have more to give. I joined later, so maybe this had already been discussed. If so, I will go over the video later, but could it be possible to see the Dow unicorn? Yeah, so we just pointed out the Dow unicorn again just a couple of seconds ago. Here it is. At New York Open, right, 9:30, you get the stop hunt. You're looking for a displacement through the breaker block. The highest up close candle before the leg down that took liquidity. You need an FVG that is aligned with the breaker block. You get that as well. Price runs 2R nicely. Doesn't look like it gave an entry. This would be the first time that the model is confirmed once the 9:45 candle closes. Price never came back to the breaker block before running 2R. YM is last to make the high from Wednesday the 20th. Please check EU London kill zone. There was a unicorn. So I'm going to finish the analysis here. I'm going to just go through the comments and talk with the community before I end stream. So is this unicorn still valid if it didn't give entry? No. When a position runs plus 2R before giving an entry, I no longer use that position. People here are hitting the heart on the chat, thinking they're liking the stream. Tell them to smash the like button on the video. Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate the help and the support. Yeah, if you did find this to be useful, hit the like button on the stream. Hit the subscribe button. We do this weekly, so I will gladly continue providing as much value as I can. You mentioned the bearish breaker on NQ, but aren't we bullish on the daily? Yes. Very good observation. And this is the exact reason why you wouldn't execute it. If there had been a red folder news, would you have taken the counter bias bearish NQ unicorn still? No. Just because a unicorn is on the screen does not mean you execute it. If you are bullish on the daily, but only a bearish unicorn appears, do not take the trade. You always want to align yourself with the higher time frame order flow. Just because you can identify something does not mean you should execute it. We are not retail traders. We're not looking for a pattern to execute. We are understanding probabilities. Same thing goes for no news drivers, right? So if you see a unicorn, but there's no news drivers, that's the same thing as a counter bias trade. If you're at lower probabilities, it is the individual's job to only hold their business to quality over quantity. If you're going to take lower probability trades, understand your win rate is going to suffer to that. If you're going to be more patient and only take higher quality trades, then your win rate is going to reflect that. It is a matter of discipline and it is a matter of patience. Thank you, sir. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you guys as well for joining. I hope everybody else has a great day as well. Thank you very much. This was awesome. Thank you. Happy holidays, Ash and everyone. Happy holidays and happy New Year's to everyone. Please, when you are doing a giveaway on props, I did just do a giveaway for Christmas on my funded futures. I do plan on doing more giveaways, as I have discussed multiple times this stream. I'm doing everything I can to provide value to this community. So every time I get a chance to do a giveaway, I am definitely going to. Thank you, Ash. Good stuff. This was awesome. Thank you for doing these live streams. Can't wait to get back at it in January. Yeah, so my next execution is going to be after the new year. I've stated it multiple times. There's no high impact news drivers this week, so I will not be executing. Do you ever look at the 1 minute? So I personally don't use the 1 minute. My execution time frame is the 5 minutes. So I use the 5 minutes to execute. Click the thumbs up, guys. Okay. Thank you for your explanations of the strategy. I have a question. Then you are allowed of entry after 9:45 or after 9:50 a.m. You're allowed, for me, right, I'm a New York AM trader. I execute after New York open. So from 9:30 to 12 o'clock, I enter positions. If you're a New York AM trader and you follow this strategy, that is the times that I would look at. You can execute London open as well. It would be the same thing. It would be executing from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. So it's on or after the opening times that you execute. NQ presented bearish unicorn. Would you enter there even though price took SSL? No, I had just mentioned NQ from an earlier comment. Bias is bullish. I would not be taking a bearish position. I had to take a work call. Did you explain why you chose the 945 candle as the BB instead of the 920 or 925 candles on NQ? Let me just hop over to NQ. So it is for a bearish breaker, right? It is the lowest down close candle before the leg up that took liquidity, right? So here's a swing high. We go up, we go down, then we take out that swing high, right? So the leg up that took liquidity is from here to here. You need the lowest down close candle before the leg up that took liquidity. That candle would be the 945 candle. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, Ash. So helpful incorporating all this into my back testing. Look forward to connecting in the Discord. Yeah, I am also going to be in the Discord after this. I'm still open to communicating over text. I do just have to wrap up the stream. So that'll be the rest of the stream. Again, I'm very thankful for everybody that showed up this morning. Thank you for joining. If you found value, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We do this weekly, so turn the notifications on so that we can join the next live stream as well. There's lots of value that I will be adding in 2024. I have more videos that I will be releasing. There will be more live streams that occur. There will be more giveaways that are going to happen for free challenges, and we are partnering with the L40 Foundation. We are going to probably do a Twitter space with the L40 founder to talk about that topic more. I will definitely let you guys know when we go to do that, so I would appreciate if you guys joined that as well, so that you guys could hear about the partnership. Thank you again. I'm going to end the stream there. I hope everybody has a great holiday and a happy new year. Thank you again for joining, and we will have our next stream in 2024. I hope everybody has a great week. Thanks again.